Call to order this meeting of the Green Bay Public Arts Commission. Today is Wednesday, March 27th, 2019. It's 8:01. And we're in 604 City Hall. Roll call, Ken Hutchison, I'm here. Vice Chair, Alex Zacharias.
Here.
Alderman Randy Scannell.
Present.
Matt Buchanan.
Here.
Kelly Strickland.
Here.
Liaisons Beth Lemke.
Here.
Paul Grawl is not here right now. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for today, March 27th?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Can I get a motion to approve the minutes?
Well, we want to amend the agenda.
That's right.
The motion to amend the agenda that we move number 2 to number 1.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye.
Thank you for that amendment.
Yeah.
Randy. Is there a motion to approve the minutes for February 27th?
Motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. So, Alex, could you introduce, I'm going to recuse myself from this item because I'm implicated in the item.
All right. So first order of business here.
Number 2.
Liaison Representative Beth Lemke from Neville Museum and Paul Grohl from, where am I at here?
Regular business number 2.
Consideration with possible action on the annual grant program application from Allison Hillenbrand and Kent Hutchinson for Farmery Rooted Sculpture.
I think we have someone.
We have a rep-
Open the.
So, motion open the floor.
Do I? Matt?
Make the motion.
Second?
Second by me.
All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Hi, everybody.
Morning.
I'm Allison. I'm with the Farmery in Green Bay. Do you guys want me to stay?
Yeah, and then if you can give us your first name and your home address, please. I mean, your full name and home address.
Home address?
Yes.
I think it can work.
It's
Or work address.
Okay. Yeah. Should I stand here?
Sure, wherever
Yeah,
you
so-
feel.
Or
sit down.
Okay, I'll sit down. That's better. Allison Hellenbrand, and it's spelled wrong on the agenda. It's Hellenbrand.
You got the wrong brand.
Yeah, the wrong brand. And then the work address for is 437 South Jackson Street in Green Bay, Wisconsin, 54301.
Thank you.
Yes.
So what do you have for us?
Yes, so this is a project, I've printed off a couple, I don't know if you guys want to pass them around if you haven't seen them before. So this is a project that started, a group of individuals from NeighborWorks Green Bay went on a Community Leadership Institute to Houston to talk about how to do community outreach and community building. And through that project came up with the idea to do an art project with the Farmery in collaboration with NeighborWorks Green Bay and the Navarino Neighborhood Association. And so this is the concept of the piece. For those of you who don't know, the Farmery is in the old Alloy Mineral Springs bottling plant facility, and so that building was originally built to hold large quantities of water. It then was a National Guard armory, and then a while after that, it was vacant for about 50 years, until a group of individuals came together and said, how can we reimagine this space, and came up with the idea of doing an indoor aquaponics farm and fish hatchery. And so that is what is going to be the future home of the building. We have a variety of aquaponics systems already set up and are undergoing massive renovation and construction, which is very exciting. But we really wanted to do some sort of piece to connect what's happening on the inside of the building with the neighborhood itself, and wanted to stick to the history of the building, which is water. So we started off as a Mineral Springs bottling plant, and now we are going to be housing large quantities of water for a fish hatchery and aquaponics systems. And so we wanted to stick with the roots of the building, which is why this piece is called Rooted. And it is going to be massive sculptures of our greens. So those are the roots of the greens, and then we grow different lettuce and salad greens and herbs. And so if you actually pull them out, because it's grown aquaponically, it's in the water, there's these beautiful root systems that come out, and then you have the greens on top. So we wanted to use this sculpture as a way of really showcasing the history of the building, and then using it as an educational piece to explain kind of the background of the building, but then also how does aquaponics works and all of those things as well. And so we've been collaborating with Kent on the piece and are hoping to continue to expand upon it. We have gotten funding from the NeighborWorks America, they have funding from their grant, and then we've also got funding
Bless you.
from the Redevelopment Association through a block grant, and want to just keep the momentum going and to have as many institutions that feel that it would be important to also have their name on this piece. We are going to make it interactive around the piece, so we're going to have a garden bed that will be, we're working on if it's going to be around the actual base or a little bit down the hill. You can see on the picture, if you're, so the front of the farmery, that's the rendering of what that's going to look like. The entrance itself is not exactly correct in that rendering. It's not, it's gonna have a U-shape entrance, and one side will be the stairs and the other will be a wheelchair accessible ramp, and the piece will go right in the middle of that. And then we will be doing some gardening boxes there, or potentially on the side, with the goal of really making this an interactive piece. For those who aren't familiar with that area, it's right by Howell Elementary, Alder Leopold, the Da Vinci's.
It's good, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not from Green Bay
I
originally, so
always
it's
do
still
that
getting-
too.
Yep, and so we really want this to be a piece where community members can come and gather and have shared spaces, growing food, learning, and having pride in their neighborhood. So we would love additional support, and to be able to say that the Public Arts Commission also supports the project and believes in the work that we're doing. So any other questions or?
Yeah. So Allison, I love the idea. Who's the artist behind it, and are those roses or what are those?
Lettuce.
Those are lettuces.
Those are lettuces,
Yes.
gotcha.
They're
Alright.
lettuces. And it's, Kent is the artist Ken Hutchison will be the artist that will be working on the piece with us. There's gonna be, so we sit on a committee involved, and there's representatives from the Navarino Neighborhood Association, the Farmery, NeighborWorks Green Bay, and then some other key community volunteer stakeholders that are really involved in that neighborhood and the Farmery project. And so we all came together and we had a variety of designs, and this is the final one that committee picked. And there's going to be a couple changes from this rendering. I think they might be a little more, like one will be a little higher than the others, but in more or less that will be what the piece will look like.
The head lettuce.
That's, yeah. But we just really love it's called Rooted because of that history of the building, the use of water, and we all felt it was really important to keep the motif of water in the piece. And there's nothing more powerful than the rootedness of the building, and then the history of how these plants are going to be growing as well. You need those roots to make any of it happen, so.
Allison, what is the material that the roots themselves are made out of?
I think it says on this front piece, it's going to be, no, it doesn't say right there. It's different metals. I don't know the exact metals. If we need to bring Kent in, I know he would know the specifics, but it is going to be different types of metals. And these, the actual greens themselves will be different types of metal, so that when the color shines, and it'll be textured so that it'll have a more dynamic presence.
Obviously, I have confidence in the fabricator. They look very delicate for a public art piece, and they're closest to the ground, so I just wondered what the sort of plan for.
So under supplies and materials, we've got steel, aluminum, hardware, concrete, rebar, lumber, bolts, and installation
I wonder
hardware.
if they would have rebar inside of them. They look so thin in the rendering, that's all I would ask.
Do we want to bring in Ken for more technical questions, or?
Yeah,
I can get them.
I wouldn't know.
Real quick while we're grabbing hints, just to ensure that it is truly a public piece, is the location, I'm looking at here, of the piece where the box is, the black
Nope,
box?
that green,
Or the green?
the green is where it's gonna be located. The other boxes were other things we were
Okay.
looking at in relation
So
to.
like right up on the sidewalk?
Yes, it'll be right,
Okay. That's good.
yes.
Kent,
The
have you-
technical question was mine, and I just wondered what the fabrication of the roots were. They look so delicate the closer they get to the ground.
They're going to be composed of solid cylindrical stock, so round stock, which is varying degrees of thickness.
Okay.
So like probably 2-inch will be the infrastructural stuff going all the way to the ground with the flange.
Got it, okay.
And then it'll taper out, so it'll look like an actual root getting thinner and thinner and thinner in some areas. But there'll be some like 2-inch all the way to the bottom and
Got
all
it,
that,
okay.
providing the infrastructure.
So did we answer that question about it being public?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, it's gonna be right up on the sidewalk almost.
And that was key, so the block grant funding that we got from the city, it was also a requirement that it be in a public space, so we did research and made sure that that would be eligible for it, and it was.
Any more technical questions?
What about maintenance? Is it going to require?
No maintenance is required.
Okay.
No, it's steel and aluminum, so.
Okay.
Is the water gonna pool in those kind of leaf cups, or are you
Nope.
gonna put small?
Weep holes.
Okay.
Yep, that's a good question. So there'll be weep holes at the bottom of each of those leaves, weep holes, so that they can weep and cry.
And the timeframe, what would it, how much time do you need
It
to?
would probably take at least 2 months to make, probably 3, but not too long.
I know you had mentioned that they're gonna be of various sizes. What's the tallest height gonna be? Oh, you ran away.
Well, there's a person right there, right?
Yeah,
In the figure?
I'm guessing like 5, 6 feet.
something like that. I think there's chances of potentially raising the roots,
Okay.
but I don't think it's gonna be much larger than
Raise the roots.
a human size.
Okay. Also, you ran away. I was just curious about the way the edges of these leaves are gonna be finished. I'm assuming they're gonna be smoothed out and not
Yes,
sharp.
we were very particular about wanting this to be a piece that the community, and particularly all of the children, I mean, every single day students from Powell Elementary are walking right in front of us, and that we really want this to be a piece that they can engage with, and so that it needs to be a safe space that the children, you know, can play around and be in the garden around it and not be worrying about safety, so.
Any more questions?
Seems like there's enough, I mean, they look delicate and thin, the roots, but there's enough of them connecting it to the ground. I think it looks pretty stable.
Under anticipated funding, it looks like you might be getting some additional grants that you've applied for.
So the ones that we have received is from NeighborWorks America. That's a $4,000 grant from going to that Community Leadership Institute, and then $7,500 from the City of Green Bay, the block grant. And then we are also going to be looking at applying with Navarino Neighborhood Association for one of their neighborhood grants to actually put money into the beds. So to build up some garden beds that can be, right now, where we are in the funding, it would be simple beds, but looking at potentially doing layered beds in the space as well. So that's what that would be for.
Okay.
Mhm.
And the Farmery or NeighborWorks hasn't contributed any as of yet?
So that's, the grant that we got from NeighborWorks America is because we, as the Farmery and NeighborWorks, went on that institute. So that, the only reason that we had access to that was because we're a NeighborWorks America affiliated organization, and so that's through that, but they, yeah, so that's what that is.
Okay.
And it's the farmery itself that's going to be maintaining this.
Is the funding in place to do the now curved entryway?
So that's part of the entire facade remediation of the building itself. And we would not be putting the piece in until that is all completed. We would not want to have any issues with the integrity of the sculpture. And so the goal is actually to do the official unveiling of the piece when the exterior of the building is done, so it can be done in coordination. So it would not be put until all of that is finalized, and we would make sure that there wouldn't be any bulldozers or anything coming anywhere near it.
And so the funding isn't quite lined up yet for the facade portion of the project? I'm just curious about the timeline.
Mhm.
Like if you haven't if you still need to raise funds for the facade, will that take a lot of time? Just trying to wonder when.
So that is more a contracting question. We had a contractor lined up, but then the weather was crazy, and so they took another job, and so that has pushed them back on the timeline. We did a big Giving Tuesday campaign to finish the outside, so we have funding. It's just a matter of getting the contracting lined up because the building is so old. The walls are not level, and so it's a two-sided project. You have to do a layer of siding to level out the walls before you put the final exterior siding, so it's a more complicated contracting position. So we have that set up, it's just a matter of the timeline. The siding is in the basement of the building, ready to be put on. We're just waiting for the weather to cooperate with our contractor. So the goal is to have that within 2019, so there should be no concern with that.
Are we satisfied? So do we close the floor now, or?
Yeah.
The
I'll
motion?
make a motion to close the floor.
I will second that.
All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you, Alex.
Yes, you're welcome.
Do we want Kent back? I don't know if we want.
No, we're not, we're done.
Okay.
We gotta make a decision first.
Okay.
You can't be part of that.
Any discussions?
Well, at first I had my doubts. Then it took root in my mind, and now I'm rooting for it. So let us do the lettuce.
Laura, about how many applications can you estimate that we're going to be looking at between now and May?
As of right now, I have one that's kind of waiting, but they've been waffling for a little bit, so I don't have anything concrete coming in. We have $900 kind of allocated to last us till May.
I think the project is great. My suggestion would be that we maintain our level of austerity funding that we've been using until our fundraising solutions are presented. So I guess I would be in favor of maintaining that $300 level just as a show of good faith and confidence in the project.
I'd support that as well.
All right, should that be a motion?
So, well, I missed last meeting, so maybe I missed. I thought I read the minutes. Maybe I should have looked at the video.
Well, we're concerned about how much money we have in the bank. So we're trying to allocate and anticipate other artists coming in and trying to have enough monies for them as well. So that was why the question.
Randy, in short, there's about $900 total to be distributed between now and the May meeting.
Oh,
For any
So
project.
$750, which is the requested amount, would
okay.
cannibalize pretty much
Right.
that entire amount.
Yeah.
Yep, okay, I'm with you now. Thank you. Appreciate that. I was not, missed that somehow last time.
So do we need to make a motion?
Motion to approve an award of $300.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so congratulations, Alice.
Thank you.
I guess we'll have Kent back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we make a motion to close the? Yeah, we did, right? All right, so we're good.
Say agenda number 2.
No, that was number 1 now. Bless you.
Okay, so moving along to agenda item number 2, regular business. Consider with possible action on approval of Dave Windy's rotating art program application. Is there a motion to open the floor?
Motion open the floor.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Is Mr. Dave Windy here by chance? Is he?
I think he blew in.
Oh, there he is. Morning, Dave.
Supposed to come up.
Come on up and have a seat with us,
And if you can give us your name and address.
please.
David Windy, 2400 Oak Ridge Circle, here.
Okay. So, we've all seen the sculpture in question here. Do you want to give us just a brief description about it?
It's about 14 feet tall. It's made out of stainless steel and brass. It's got 10 removable branches on it. The top is all stainless steel, so the top is maintenance-free, the bottom is maintenance-free because it just is supposed to rust. The trunk itself is made out of steel pipe, but it's different sections, about 4 inches long, all welded together individually, so it tapers and bends. And in between that, it's all ground, so it looks just like a real palm tree. It's got that concave dished look all the way up. It's kind of hard to see in the picture. The bottom's got some little stainless steel roots that are coming out. The top, where the branches go in, it usually has foliage that kind of dies away and falls away there. That's made out of brass, so it kind of hides the connection where the branches go in. And on the branches, they're probably 4 or 5 feet long, but they curve in different areas, made out of stainless, with stainless steel nails on. And there's about 300 reflective discs on each branch, so there's 600 on each branch. There's 10 branches, there's about 6,000 leaves on that. It doesn't really look like it, but it's big. I had this at the Unhinged show, so some of you may have seen it there. It was brand new then, so it wasn't rusty at that point, but this is 100% maintenance-free, 100% vandalism-proof, as far as I'm concerned. Other projects I've had, and I did propose one last year, which ended up going to NWTC, but that one, I was a little iffy on. This one, I'm very confident nobody can screw it up, because it's very strong, it's mounted into concrete at the bottom, and nobody can climb it, and the branches are way above any reaching of hands, or even on somebody's shoulders. I don't think they'd get it, because it's full size, basically. Those leaves on it are holographic, where they reflect light, different colors of light off of each individual one. So you get kind of the color of the rainbow. As the wind is blowing, it's electric, and it's almost alive up there because it's just flowing. So they kind of dangle on the nails that are held on there, and they don't blow off. The leaves are supposed to last 3 to 5 years. And I tried to blow them off, tried to rip them off, and they don't come off. Over time, they'll probably delaminate or fade or get crusty and then come off. But I've been doing this for over a year and a half with that product, and I haven't really had any problems, especially with this brand. So as far as installing, it's tall, but I can do it myself with a ladder. It is pretty easy. It's just getting the base set in, epoxied into a good foundation, and it's only about 16 inches around. Probably 3/4 or whatever you guys want me to put in as far as anchors go. And I get a ladder and I put the branches on. It takes about 15 minutes to put together.
So, does everyone understand what he's talking about? 3/4 inch that's diameter of threaded rod into the ground with epoxy.
You know, I'm from the islands and it makes me homesick, so I guess we have one of those in our backyard. But it's not native to Green Bay. I'm just curious, the palm tree. Why did you pick that tree?
I love tropical islands, vacations to where it's warm. I've got plans for much better palm trees than this. There's much more artistic palm trees. This is very basic. And
pretty nice.
I've sold several of the smaller versions of that so far, and people love it because it's not from around here. And they love it the same reason I love it. They can't have a palm tree here, and
Now we
it
can.
looks, for the most part, it looks like a real palm tree. But I mean, the branches, obviously, you don't get that color. But I do have different colors of leaves that get even closer now to real palm trees.
Any coconuts?
I thought about putting coconuts up there, but I think at this one, I was trying to hurry up and get it done for the Unhinged show. So that'll be a future palm tree.
Also, this piece, if accepted, it would be placed at Irwin and East Shore, right across from Bay Beach, so it's kind of a nice tie-in with the beach.
Yeah, perfect tie-in. And it's gonna, I think the location there would be really great because it's kind of standing alone. There's no other trees around it, so this is gonna be like highlighted. You need something that's gonna be relatively big in that location. So I think this is a
It's gonna get
perfect.
a sun there too.
Yeah.
I didn't really spot out the pad location.
It's at a intersection corner where there's like no trees. It's just kind of, so if it was a small sculpture, you'd get eaten up by the space. But since this is tall and, you know, it's a tree, so I'm in favor of this, looking forward with this. Any discussion or any questions today before we close the floor? Yeah, okay. Anything else you'd like to say about the peace statement?
No, I think I covered everything.
Yeah, so it's for sale,
Yeah.
and it would be up for a year, and you have no problems installing it and taking it down in a year, okay?
What's the price?
Well, at first it was, what is it, 10,000? But I've made enough palm trees and reduced the process now where I could do it cheaper. The main time it was the tree trunk itself. I mean, there's 4.5 round sections and there's, I don't know, 30 probably, and it's all welded and it's all ground completely dished out. It took a long time to do that, and then the top, there was 6, and I never guessed there would have been that many little leaves on there, but I took one branch and I thought, I'm gonna count half of this branch to see how many, and it ended up being exactly 300, so there was 600 on that branch, and I got 10 branches. It just took a long time to do. So,
Yeah. Fine detail in the.
I would
trunk,
say
too.
now it's 8,500 or something like that. I made them down as small as 550, little puny ones.
Okay, any other questions for Dave? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dave.
Yep.
Is there a motion to close the floor?
Motion to close the floor.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, discussion. What do we think? I like it. I think
Is
it's.
that pad currently empty?
Yes. Yep, and we have money allocated for the pad, so it's in our budget, we can do it.
It's already installed, like the pad's installed.
We have
Heads
the pad
up.
installed.
Right.
We have money from grants available to pay for his artist stipend and then also develop some labeling system for our rotating art program because we currently do not have labels on any of our pads.
So the funds that we'd be putting up for this project were from other grants, not our
They're grants
stadium
that I
access.
applied for and we
Dedicated
received.
to
They're
rotating art.
specifically
Yeah, it has to be
for
spent
rotating
for
art
rotating
program.
art, so
Right.
Perfect.
Yep. So is there a motion to accept Dave's
I'll
proposal?
make a motion to fund at the full requested amount, which is not in front of me right now.
500.
500. This piece.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Very good.
When do you want me to install it?
So,
I'll be in contact.
yes.
Okay.
Gotta get okayed by the council, that shouldn't be a problem.
No. No, actually, these don't have to be. No.
Doesn't this should just come out as a report?
It comes out as a report.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because it's temporary.
We have the autonomy for that. Thank you very much, Dave.
Yep.
Okay, so moving right along to item number 3, regular business. Consider with possible action on options to utilize community block grants, community development block, I'm murdering this one. Community development block grant beautification funds. Okay, so this was an idea put forth by staff through Laura. And do you just want to outline what your intention was for this, Laura?
So, Cheryl has tasked staff with finding options to use this pot of money that we have, the Community Development Block Grant Beautification Funds. We have, some of those funds went to the rooted sculpture. We're also using those funds for our poetry sidewalks and developing artistic bus stops. But we have roughly about 25,000, kind of estimating on the low side though, but about 25,000 left over to use to create public art. We have to use it up before November, ideally before it hits November, like October or September, around there. And the projects have to be located within low to moderate income neighborhoods. This is our current map, but I believe this is going to be changing in April, correct?
It's similar, but it's a little bit different.
Yeah, it's reduced slightly in scope of where we can have eligible areas.
Excuse me, Laura, could you introduce yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Krista Cisneros. I'm a community development specialist, so I administer these block grant funds.
Right, thank you very much.
She's here to help out if you guys come up with ideas and they're bad. She's going to shoot them down.
Not all the bad.
It's not eligible.
Whether it's eligible or not, yes.
Can you define for us what would be qualified as a beautification project?
Well, I can give you a couple of examples. Beautification, you know, whatever is going to enhance that neighborhood, that low to moderate neighborhood, that would be subject to all those individuals around that neighborhood, would be a qualifying activity. You could do, you know, sculptures, you can do sidewalks, you can do murals, you can do lighting, you can, there's a variety of activities that you can do.
So those are all aesthetic things. Would performance at all, or music, or anything like that?
No,
Not
they all
qualified.
have to be aesthetic,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Not knowing much about the history of this program, has anything been done over the course of these community development efforts to solicit input from the community about what their preference is?
Yes, every year we have to put in an application for these funds to HUD. So at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year, because our beginning is in February, I usually have a public hearing to collect input from the community on how we should spend our block grant funds in those areas. It's not usually well attended, but I try to outreach and to get community input as much as I can.
So the question is, can you reflect back anything on behalf of the community, that if there are particular areas or particular ideas that have come directly from the community about what the folks living there would?
There hasn't been any beautification input. I mean, most of my input that comes from it is, you can use block grant funds for a variety of things. You can use it for economic development, you can use it for infrastructure, you can use it for public service activities. So a lot of my input in those hearings comes along those lines, not really the beautification portion of it.
Are there
Does that
particular
help?
areas that have been identified in greater need than others?
Well, all of these low to moderate areas are eligible for the block grant funds. We have been working in several areas in the city, mostly in the downtown areas, on the west side and the east side, Broadway. Downtown, we've worked in Navarino, which is just a little bit outside of, on the east side here, Chicago. We work in several parks within the city, all eligible in these areas. We try to put as much as we can within a specific area to make a big impact. So the outer areas, we haven't done as much, but like I said, downtown, we have kind of identified that as a need. Because those are our oldest neighborhoods, and usually have a very high low to moderate income percentage within those neighborhoods.
Would the prospect of building like a community music stage or anything like that qualify? If you make it artistic and it's a creative kind of art place?
Yes, that would be an eligible activity. Mhm.
Those are things that have had success in neighborhoods of low income is providing, a stage where people can perform and, it doesn't need to be a system that is, if you want to play on a Friday or something like that, you okay with the city or anything like that. They've had success in Milwaukee and Chicago in our area. So that would be something to consider.
A similar project in Chicago, the one neighborhood was expressing, well, people think it's a high crime area and such, so they created like lampposts. So that lamppost would be situated in front of a safe house, if you will, so people walking through the neighborhood, they can feel comfortable with it. So, so it's identifying identifying what that neighborhood would want for the rest of the communities to understand about their needs and such.
Are there community organization areas, like buildings that would be like a safe house for women or for otherwise? Other entities like that exist that we have a map of at all?
I don't know exactly where they're located, but I mean, you have the Freedom House and you have the House of Hope. Golden House, yeah. Several shelters like that, but I don't know if they're identified in any way like that.
They're all in areas that would be eligible though?
I can't tell you off the top of my head. I
Okay.
don't know what their addresses are.
I think that's a great idea though, of potentially highlighting those areas that are already places where people go for as a sanctuary or something to make those more approachable to people who maybe wouldn't feel comfortable to go there or, for whatever reason.
I also think it might be nice to reflect upon how this particular project might be used to make a show of diversity and inclusion. October is Hispanic Heritage Month, so that's kind of a nice culminating time of year. And I don't have the kind of creative idea to go along with that, only the suggestion that it's some kind of celebration, acknowledgement, lifting up of a community might be nice.
Would parades be eligible?
No.
So like even if we're creating like giant puppets or something like that, that would be aesthetic? No? Okay. Because I think like events type things really, if the idea is to uplift and to shed light and acknowledgement to communities that are potentially struggling in areas, events can have that, ability to pull people out and to gather.
But you can, you can build, I think if some effort were made to partner with some of the community organizations, for instance, Casa Alba or something like that, to do an unveiling around a piece that was even just a potluck with some live music. You can still sort of have the sense of a happening around something that is permanent.
That makes sense. Is temporary art, would that be something that would be around for like 3 or 4 months at a time?
Yeah, I mean, the
I like that
rotating art pieces, something like that, if something's there for a little while, I think you want to be able to have that there for a long period of time, and you want to be able, whatever you do in these neighborhoods, you want it to be able to last and beautify that neighborhood for more than just a week, 2 months, something like that. You want to make an impact that will last.
Yeah, that makes sense. The temporary art provides a different service than permanent art. They're kind of like different tools in the toolbox of enhancement. So I think this is a good conversation to have just to get on our radar too, that these types of funds are eligible, and I wish we could just have Laura make like 3 new programs that we could do call for artists and,
That's kind of what this meeting is for. You guys are here to help kind of generate ideas that I can take back And then
Okay.
from there, staff will kind of figure out
Well,
which.
I definitely can say that I don't think the artist community at large knows that they potentially would be eligible for these type of grant dollars. And if they were to develop like a mural or a sculpture or some type of aesthetic, presence or something that would be eligible, I don't think they'd know who to apply to. So maybe that would be a program that we could do a call for art for. We haven't called, you could think of a name that would be an accurate name that would allocate dollars from this block grant dollars.
A question, does that artist have to be from the area?
As long as the art, I think, it stays in those eligible sites, I
Right.
think they could be from wherever.
All right. Because let's say the Hmong community might say, well, we have an artist that we can bring in to create, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
So would it be the development of a new program then? Like, or just
No.
maybe a call?
No.
I don't think so. I think, we have these dollars available to us that we can use any way that we like. Well, as long as we meet the criteria and the eligibility. I might recommend we just find opportunities for art and do a call for that particular project. So if we find like a building facade that could really use a mural in a neighborhood that we want to focus our efforts on, do a call for artists for that particular location, or for ads, or for sculpture.
It's just saying site specific.
So that's what I would think would make the most sense. It just creates a little bit more, just would allow us to be a little bit more specific with what we would want to see, rather than just put it all out.
and what kind of money are we talking about?
How much is 25,000 for as many projects as we want? So we could have
When
one
does the-
really big impactful project, or
When does it
3 or 4.
expire?
We need to spend it by October.
Are you gonna do Better Block Party again?
We're talking about doing a Better Block event, yeah.
I just am concerned because just listening to what you were saying about the beautification, looking at those neighborhoods and you think about everything that is infrastructure needed. Yes, art can uplift, but in the daily lives of most of those people and those residents in that area, they're trying to survive, right? So I struggle with just saying, let's do art for art's sake in those areas and it'll just automatically, do something. I think with the Better Block Party, there was multiple pieces. It was a geographic location that was identified, and then it was multiple sources coming together to
Right.
carry through this duration, and had a lasting impact. So there's got to be somewhere in between, and trying to figure out, is there another way that, funds can be allocated towards that in the time period perhaps, or is there another type of event with the geographic location that, is a win-win with then perhaps a community partner. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but the neighborhood
We've
association.
worked with
Yeah.
Casa Alba, like they're working on their facade. So there's a handful of things where it's like, okay, is there a way to layer the economic need, the art need?
Sure. I like that idea.
One thing that if we have like an event like Better Block, which I liked a lot, I wonder how many of the residents of the area are really being affected by that type of thing, or is it people that are from outside the area that are coming to the downtown area who are
Yeah.
benefiting from those
Well,
dollars?
the point is to try to get the neighborhood involved. It's their project. If they can devote the time and effort, usually those kinds of folks are having a hard time. They've got jobs, so they might not have the time to invest in a project like Better Block, but
How successful was
ideally-
it, do you think, in getting the local people in the neighborhoods to?
the one in Green Bay was not as successful in getting the people involved locally in that neighborhood. In other projects that I've been involved with in other cities, it was very successful. So I think it just depends.
Okay, so the potential's there to really be engaging with an area that needs some
Mhm.
engagement, okay.
Right, and I mean, if we were to look at maybe like South Broadway, for instance, where we're doing the Shipyard project, we've already done a ton of local neighborhood outreach for that project. We want to beautify that corridor. There might be there's plenty of areas we could go into, but that one might make sense, just because we know that those residents are very interested in what's happening in that
Okay.
neighborhood.
What, do you remember, and maybe Matt, you weren't on the commission yet, was it Marcelo Cruz's class that had done,
Yeah, they,
they did the map, and then they identified the area, that corridor, that cul-de-sac or that dead end.
Hubbard?
It was not Hubbard, it was on it was on, I thought it was the path to East High School, because a lot of the students were coming from the neighborhood, crossing over, and it was, because they were looking at Art Garage, NWTC,
Mhm.
and then getting to East High School.
Okay.
And there was, I can't remember what it was, I remember the pictures, because they had a picture of this like cul-de-sac with these, dead posts, where it didn't look very inviting, and kids are walking past it to get access to the high school.
Yeah, that was before me. I don't know.
Okay. But you remember his class presenting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It was it was identifying the
Art
public
pieces.
arts, but then it was also looking at that kind of urban design.
Is there an opportunity to re-invite them and just get?
well, we should have all that.
Should be all in,
Okay.
yeah.
We've got all
With the
that.
minutes for all this stuff,
Yeah, so I remember that, so but we should be able to dig it up.
and the videos too. But, so he identified that corridor there that's, has like, it's fertile for some more cultural and artistic like entity.
Yeah, but there wasn't like an anchor community. I think for the Black, the neighbor, but I think we're still needing that stronger like community partner, just again to help champion and embrace.
It's really important for Better Block to have like a bid or a neighborhood association to partner with to make it happen, just because city staff can't do that by ourselves.
Right.
We've also talked about potentially Odart Street, where we have almost like the potential for like a little Chinatown right there with all those great Hmong markets. And it's such an interesting little street that goes right into Whitney Park, and there's a lot of momentum for that area right now with new development. So talking about diversity and embracing culture, I think there's an opportunity to capitalize on that at that location as well.
I'm gonna have a question for you. Do you think, is it difficult to find projects that fit that niche of the CDBG funding area?
Well, 2018 was the first year that we put money into this beautification program. In past years, in these block grant funds, we have not spent money for that.
Okay.
So I think that's why it's coming to you now to think of some ideas. We just, with everything that's going on and finding, planting and making the streets look better and things like that, I think we just wanted to put some money, set it aside rather than just keep talking about it. And so we plunked this money in there and now, wanted to bring it forward to you guys to
Right.
find out what you could do with it,
Well,
or ideas.
yeah.
I think because of the timeline, I do like the idea of responding to something that is already kind of an identified, generated idea. I think putting out a general call, even if you approached particular communities and asked for their assistance in identifying artists that might be representative of that community, you're still looking at putting out a period of ideation for these artists. I just don't see it all getting done by October. And so if there is something that the commission has heard, has already kind of gone through a process of analysis and reflection, like this particular project, and I love the idea that our arts pipeline schools, Webster, Washington, and East, are all right around that area. That sounds like it's something that kind of has been vetted in philosophy, and also, I would assume, has generated some input from the community of people who are in that area, at least the students using,
I can't remember, I'd have to go back, I can't remember the specifics, because it was his students that had gone out and done like the conceptual stuff, but I don't know who, like, again, they interviewed.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so schools, so how do we utilize that? We have to come up with a list of artistic events that are, potentially could leverage a mural or a sculpture or something like that, that could they could facilitate finding an artist potentially. I think there's plenty of options there, like with what people are doing. I don't know the music on the city deck. Something in, I know a few photographers have expressed interest in doing a big, fairly comprehensive display of photography on metal on there, so maybe it could be in conjunction with, there's Ignite Market, so if we want to do, kind of leverage existing entities with these dollars, I think there's ways to do that. I think it's going to take a little bit of work from all of us to seek out what those opportunities are to maybe play a role in connecting some dots there. But I agree, doing a call and trying to get completion by October is kind of a tall order. So,
The project doesn't have to be completed by October, correct? We just have to have the funds out the door, right?
Right, but
But
yeah, you have
ideally,
to
like-
have the funds out the door, so.
Okay.
ideally, you'd want it done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you
You gotta send the
yeah,
funds
he
out
wouldn't
the door without
pay for
it
it prior
completed.
to it
Yeah.
getting done, so, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Who
So-
says an unfinished piece isn't finished?
Ours is not.
Okay, Laura, do you have any other comments, or do you have
Yeah.
suggestions, or?
We kind of gave you a lot of,
I
I'm not sure
did.
how much direction you have from all this.
But you wanted to walk away with a plan, right?
No.
No?
I mean, maybe if you want to come back with some solid proposals, like based on what we kind of discussed.
Yeah, let's
like some
revisit this.
suggestions of, like, hey, how about this particular site? We can do a call here, and we can work with these partners in the community on this piece. Maybe just a handful of ideas.
Well, I think that's a good idea. I think maybe if you, via your notes, if you have taken something, that maybe we could create a few directions or narratives. Let's revisit this next month and see if we can put something a little bit more objective on the table moving forward.
Okay.
Can I just interject?
Absolutely.
And I just want to, the October 1st or November 1st timeline that I give everybody for block grant funds is based on a regulation that we have to be below a certain amount in our funds. We have to have it spent. So there are other activities and other departments that are spending their money. Yours is $25,000. Ideally, I'd like to have that spent by November 1st. But if it stretched out a little farther and somebody else spent their money, we would still hit that cap. So it could be a little bit later than that for your spending.
I don't
Everybody else
think
better
that's
start
gonna be-
spending.
Well, right, and it's like, I don't want to tell people that because then nobody will spend their money and then I'll be in a, then we'd have to give the money back. So
Right.
it's kind of one of those, if
Yep.
everybody else spends their money, you'd be able
We're
to
doing
push
all right.
yours out a little bit farther because it's such a small dollar amount compared to everybody else's.
That's true, and that's the thing, and you had mentioned it before, we could easily spend all $25,000 on one piece.
Oh, sure.
And like, it would be done, and it would be probably a successful piece, we don't know that, but my point is like, how thin do we want to spread that money around, and what would be the impact of, if we did spread it around as opposed to if we just did a few bigger murals or sculptures. I don't think it's going to be hard to spend the money.
I think that's the current desire, is to have a broader reach rather than just funding one particular piece. We want to have a broad reach, but like you said, not spread ourselves too thin.
Okay.
So would having a theme help, like celebrating our communities or something like that? And
Themes always, for me, they can help give direction to people who are spitting mud, but I think we don't want to box ourselves in with a theme.
I think more importantly, it's identifying who the partners are that have a
Yeah.
vested interest in expediting these things. So for each of these proposals you come back with, I think it's being really critical to identify exactly who the partners are that have a reason to work quickly
Yeah.
and already have ideas about what it is that they need.
The inertia's already established.
Yeah.
Has neighborhood associations been aware that they could tap into this?
I'm working with Will.
Well, okay, yeah,
We're
'cause,
working together, so
I
that's
mean,
why we're.
that would be grassroots right there. I mean, you're working with the neighborhood association, they're, you know, I mean, and they have done projects.
Right.
So I think that'd be,
Okay, so
Agreed.
let's rediscuss this item next month, and maybe we'll have a little bit more clarity on some directions that we could go in. And all of us maybe consider entities that can help pair some of these dollars with some actionable direction, artistically, aesthetically.
I just want to chime in one more time to reinforce my enthusiasm for doing something that was an acknowledgement of representation of underrepresented communities.
Absolutely, absolutely. Very good. Okay.
motion to what?
Place on file till next month,
To hold?
to hold till next
Or
month.
refer to staff.
I was saying, wouldn't it be refer to staff since I'm actively doing stuff?
Motion to refer to staff.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Okay, informational chairman's reports. I don't have any chairman's reports for today.
What? I came just for that.
Approved.
Second.
Coordinator?
As far as liaisons go, we have 2 applications in currently for potential liaison position. No positions will be appointed until the new mayor is in those, so that probably won't happen until either our April meeting or May. Most likely May. 501c3 status, the papers are submitted, and now we wait.
Yay!
Also,
Great work.
if anyone is free Monday, April 1st for the Common Council meeting at 6 p.m., I will be receiving,
I'll be there.
we'll be receiving a proclamation from the mayor acknowledging National Poetry Month, which is April. We'll also be releasing our call for poems for our sidewalk poetry program.
Great.
So,
Are there any restrictions on it?
yep. I'm waiting to hear back from the stamp maker, but we're gonna have line restrictions and character restrictions for how long the poems can be, so that way they can fit on the stamp, which will fit on the sidewalks.
Oh, the character of the letter, not the writer.
Yeah. So that'll be presented at the Common Council meeting next Monday for anyone who would like to join me and receive that proclamation.
Okay.
Any takers?
Monday, April 1st. What time?
6 p.m.
6 p.m.
You're gonna show up and we say, April Fool.
Where's that meeting held?
It'll be in the council chambers on the 2nd floor.
I'm watching the kids, but
Oh, bring them.
I mean, Randy, you'll be there if you want to.
Bring the kids.
you gotta just sit the kids in your little booth
Sure,
there.
yeah.
Okay.
I'll see if I
Devastating.
Unless it's
Available.
civics.
Sorry, Laura.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I just figure it's not it's a joyous yay moment.
Yeah,
So if
no,
anyone
no,
wanted
we
to
gotta
join me.
Capitalize those, take some
Yeah.
photos. Okay, so 6 o'clock, April 1st. Be in touch. Any other comments?
I have the call for artists for our utility boxes, if anyone wants to share them. I sent you
Yeah.
the
Is there a way
link.
to put that on Facebook?
I wrote up a post yesterday, I think we're just waiting to
To
review
share,
it.
because I mean, you sent something, I remember I didn't get a chance to really,
I sent the call and the press release in the email.
yeah, in an
So
email.
that's what you got in the email.
Yeah, I got in the
But I'll
email.
be,
It'll
we
be on
should be
Facebook.
posting it on Facebook today.
Within today or tomorrow.
And that can be shared on my Facebook, yeah, okay.
Yep.
Great.
Other than that,
Do you know, the other thing that was supposed to start since our last meeting were some introductory meetings with folks who were interested in joining the Friends of the Commission? Have those invitations been extended?
they have been extended, we're waiting to confirm exact dates.
Great.
Dates kind of got confirmed, and then there was weather, and some people were sick, so they got pushed back a little bit, but they're being confirmed.
Now, how are we doing with our capital fundraising group, whatever?
Well, the
Not as great as I'd
501c3
like to be.
Yeah,
It doesn't exist yet.
Yeah.
I mean, legally, it's on the way of existing.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's in the beginnings of actually having some membership.
And staff, not Laura, other staff is going to be taking on the leadership role in developing the fundraising mechanism.
Really?
Which is through this Friends of the GBPAC, which is a 501c3 entity that Laura has just submitted the application for.
Okay.
So that's off of Laura's responsibility list, and it's referred to other staff. So
Thanks.
it's great. So should be seeing some fruition sometime soon, let's hope. Okay, next meeting will be on Wednesday, April 24th. And is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
This is fun, let's do it again.